Alright, back again, Luke here. And as you can see, I've got the Sega Master System 2 here. It's all taken apart. I'm going to try to attempt to see if I can get some sort of video image out of this thing. I was doing a little bit of reading online, and unfortunately, if you take a look at the back of this here, this is a 3006-05A model made in Thailand. And apparently, after looking at the Bacteria website, this model here is a little bit more tricky to mod. It's not so easy to mod the RGB on it, but what I found kind of contradictory to that is taking a look at this chip up here. At the very top, you can see there is a MB3514 encoding chip up here. And apparently with the earlier versions of the Sega Master System 2, there's a different CX chip, and that chip is easier, I suppose, or at least from what I've read, to do an RGB mod on. But apparently this chip also has it. This chip also has the NTSC to PAL kind of switch on it. I think if you tie, tie pin 7 to high, it'll be in NTSC. If it's tied to low, then it'll actually be in PAL mode. So that's one thing that I kind of found interesting. Also, this chip is actually run over here to this kind of funky chip, this Sega chip over here. And this chip here on one of the pins, I think it's pin 57, if you tie that one to low, then you'll get it to switch into NTSC mode. However, even with switching that, just that by itself, into NTSC using this RF box, doing further investigation, PAL uses a different RF signal than NTSC J, or Japan, so this box is pretty much useless here. So what I'm going to do is probably just remove that. I'm going to see if I can find the composite first on here and try and tap the composite, tap out the audio, so at least I can get an idea if this thing is playing or not. It should, at least, if I can get audio out of it, then I know that the system's working, but considering this thing doesn't have a power light on it either, it makes it a little bit of a challenge, kind of like the old Famicom, to try and figure out, okay, is it on, is it not on? But yeah, first step here is to try and see if I can get these wires soldered up here and get this thing to produce an image. So we're gonna jump on that. I'm going to start kind of tapping some wires off of this and see if we can get something to come up. But be back in a little bit. Alright, so as you can see here, I've removed the RF box. That's no longer going to be needed, since we're not going to be trying to force the TV to jump into PAL mode. Unfortunately, we're going to take that out and clear up a lot of space around here, around this area. And you'll notice here on the encoder, what I've done is I've lifted up pin number 7 on this side here, and it's not connected to the board. You probably can't see. I don't know if we can get a closer look in there. Probably not. But the leg itself is lifted from the board, and on the inside there's one wire that's on pin number 7, and then I've jumped that to pin number 12 on the very end here, which is our power. So that should run pin number 7 as high, and that should make it jump into NTSC mode. So from here, what we have to do is try and hook up all of the different wires for our composite and our audio, which can all be taken off of this same chip here. So we'll try and hook those wires up and see if we can get this thing to at least show a picture. So I'll be back in a second. Alright, so as you guys can see here, I've been pretty busy with the old soldering pen, and what I'm going to do is go through here and explain all the parts that I've changed around here and what I've done to this so far, just so you guys know. First off, one of the most major things is if you look down here in the bottom corner, you can see it's upside down right now. It's kind of hard to revolve it around, but you can see that the crystal says 53.693 megahertz. Now, this crystal is not the original original crystal that was in the unit. The original crystal was this one here, which was 53.203 megahertz. What I did is I changed out the crystal here after doing some research online, finding out that this crystal sometimes will cause serious interference, especially with the black and white images. So what the new crystal here will do is change around the color, let the color kind of come back and not have it in black and white. I got this out of an old Mega Drive that was no longer functioning, so luckily I was able to remove that and put that in there. You don't have to, you know, sacrifice one of your consoles in order to get this. You should be able to find this online in a store. Right now, you know, I'm in Japan here, so this is the crystal that comes standard in most of the Japanese consoles. But if you're in America or if you're in Canada, around that area, it might be a little bit of a different number for regular NTSC. This is NTSC J. But nonetheless, that is the first thing that I wound up doing here. And upon some further research, it took a little bit of hunting to try and figure out what needed to be done, and some very careful reading into things. But if you go down here and you look at this custom chip, this is a Sega chip here, by going down here along the bottom, you can see it goes up to 64 pins. And it goes like, if you'll see right here, this is 33, then the inside is 34, 35, 36, and so on. So it kind of goes like a kind of zigzag. So the inside ones also count. So the outside ones you'll see 31, 32, 33, so on. This pin here is pin number 57. And you'll see it's cut away from the board here and lifted up. What I had to do is cut the pin away, lift it up, put a jumper wire on here, and put it onto ground. What I did is scraped away a little bit of the ground trace here, and then put a drop of solder on there. This is to help change it into NTSC mode. Now, you could probably put a switch on here for NTSC and PAL, but for the most part I think I'm just going to try and run it in NTSC. If I have any trouble, then I might have to go around and mess around with the switch, you know, to put it back into PAL. But that's the first thing I had to do here. Next, you'll notice up here there is a wire. This wire is on still on this custom chip here. This is on pin number 15, and what this is our audio. Now, you can get the audio from two different places. You can get it from here, but you can also get it from the the MB3514 chip up here, the encoder. This just seems to be like a really easy place to get it. You can try and solder directly to the inside wire there, or the inside leg there. It's really kind of tricky. Or you can just try and see the trace that goes in between this capacitor here, and there's a small little hole, so you just scrape away some of the mask on the end of those traces, and then put a drop of solder on there and solder your wire. So that is your audio. There's no need for any kind of capacitor. You don't need to put a capacitor on the audio wire itself. It'll play just fine just having one wire there. And it's just single mono audio. It's not stereo. So if we go up here to the more complex and more interesting parts of the board itself, you'll see on the encoder there are quite a few different wires. I don't know if I can prop this up here or not. We'll try our best. First off, you'll see here on pin number 7 on the encoder, once again, that's the pin that I lifted up, and I wound up grounding, or not grounding it, but I put 5 volts to it. So pin number 12 is the VCC, or the power. So the power is going from there to pin number 7, telling it that it's in NTSC mode. So you need to do both of these things in order to get it correctly. If you only do the top one here and you change that around, but you don't wind up cutting this wire down here and jumping it, you'll get your image kind of half off. Yeah, I've already tested this thing out so to try and give you guys a little bit more of an insight on what needs to be done. But when I did it the first time, I didn't cut the bottom one here and jump it, and what I had was the screen was offset, and yeah, I think that it played a major part by changing that around, because after that the screen adjusted itself. So up here at the top, on this top pin up here, well, if you can see this resistor, it says resistor 21. or IC9, right there at that point, what you need to do is get a 75K resistor. And not a 75K, sorry, 75 ohm, not 75K, just 75 ohm resistor. And the color band should be, what is it, purple, purple, green, black, I believe that's it. So that should be just a 75 ohm resistor. And you're going to connect that up to the negative side of a 220 microfarad capacitor. This is a 220 microfarad 16 volt capacitor. You can see it's connected to the negative part of the leg. And you need both of these in parallel here. And from the positive side, what you're going to do is connect your wire that leads out for your composite video. So by just doing this part here and by putting this wire on here, by changing around this wire, you will have most of your video set up. Now, what you're also going to have to do, of course, you're going to have to change out this crystal down here. But one other thing is on the Z-Log Z80, it's pin number, which one is this? Pin number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pin number 6. On pin 6 here, you're going to want to run a jumper wire from here to capacitor C20. Let me make sure this is right. C26, right? And on C26, you probably can't see it there, but there is also another 75 ohm capacitor or 75 ohm resistor on here. Normally, there's a capacitor here. This is the one that I took off. So you're going to need to remove this capacitor here from C26, take that out, and you're going to put a 75 ohm resistor into the positive part on that side, and you're going to put your wire from pin number 6 into that resistor. And by doing all that, that will give you the video and the sound that you need. Now, you might be probably asking yourself, so what are all these wires here? Well, this is for the chroma and luma and the ground. This is for S-Video, and S-Video can be pulled off this chip, but I don't have an S-Video connector right now, so I'm in the process of just just trying to connect the wires up and maybe put those on later at a later time. As for right now, I mean, I'm pretty content with just regular composite on here. But it does the trick. You'll also notice, you'll see that some of these wires, I've wrapped them around the capacitors, around the legs here. And that's just to help, if these things get pulled on, what they're going to do is pull on the legs on the capacitor, and they're not going to pull directly from the encoder itself. Because that's the one thing that I just don't want to have happen is accidentally try and open this thing up, and it pulls one of the legs off the encoder, and it pulls it right off the top part of the chip, so that'll cause a lot of issues. So I wrapped it around there to make it a little bit stronger. I did the same thing over here. I might wind up adding a little bit of hot glue on this capacitor here just to keep it in place because I don't want that moving around. And I'll probably try and utilize this hole here some way. Maybe I'll get a piece of metal or so and try and fabricate a spot for the video so I can put the video composite jack in there and then put the 2 audio jacks right here, which will make it really nice. And then eventually, if I get my S-Video, I can either put it around here or whatnot. But so far, it's ready to rock and roll. And I figured we could go and give this a shot here. Since we already got the everything off, got all sorts of stuff going on. So let's you can see all my tools and stuff laying around here. So, and let's put this down here. What I'm using is a regular Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive AC adapter for it as well, which is working really nicely. So, put that in here. And I'm probably going to have to put this down for just a second, just so I can get everything set up. I need my wires in the back. But yeah, as soon as I wound up getting this thing in the mail, I instantly started trying to track down how to wire this thing up, and it was not the easiest to find all the information. You had to do a lot of hunting and things like that, so I figure I'll make this video here. It'll make it quite simple for everyone to understand. Next time, if somebody wants to do this with a PAL Master System, you should be able to do it with PAL Master System too. So let's see here. Should be alright. I got it hooked up to this one here, so let's hit the old switch. And you can see that it's got beautiful color. You know, color comes just shining right through. And you can hear the volume. It's not cranked up here, but let's try and turn this up. But as you can see, I mean, it's working. It's working really nicely. In fact, I think the green might be just a tad bit too bright in here, and some of the colors might be a bit too bright as well. But nonetheless, I mean, it's putting out a pretty good image, and I'm pretty satisfied with that. A little bit of work, you know, trying to get this far, but nonetheless, it is up and running. I'm gonna have to try and get those plugs and everything situated. I guess the one thing that I was really kind of surprised about, I didn't know about the Master System here, is it actually has the green border around the side, which, as you can see here, you know, kind of has this green border around there, which I thought it would have had like, you know, just a regular black border or blue border or something like that, but it's kind of got the same border as the regular Sega, what is it, Sega SG1000. So, but yeah, those are some very, very green and very, very bright colors there. So, not sure exactly if I can find a way to crank those down or change those up a little bit, but hey, you know what, it's working out pretty nice. So, for the most part, it's up and running, and I'll go and put the finishing touches on this thing, and then we'll give it one last go, let you guys see what it looks like here when it's all finished up. So let's get to that and get that all done. Alright, so as you can see here, I've got all this back together. I've got some hot glue, a nice hot glue pile going on the back there of those composite cables or plugs, and you'll notice that by looking at it from the side here, the height is a little bit different, and that's because of the fact that there was a big space here, and the video jack was just gonna, you know, slide all the way through there. So what I did to kind of utilize this spot is I took a washer and I filed it down here at the bottom so it would sit inside, because when it was fully rounded it wouldn't sit flat, so I filed it down on one side, got it to sit down in there, used my Dremel tool, drilled a couple of holes through the washer, and then put the jack through there. And I got some hot glue holding that in there. And unfortunately, you know, all of these plugs here, or these, the white and the left and right channel, like when I went to go and buy them, recently they've been having like a really strange batch, I think, because the white and the red are totally different makers. So, but nonetheless, it does work. Those should work for right now, you know, maybe not the most or the best job by any means, but it should do the trick. And yeah, that's all ready to go. Got this board all tightened back down, so that's ready. And I need to just do the final steps, as you'll see here. There's some scuff marks on the back of this, which I'm going to have to take off. And we'll do the final stages here, like the controller. This thing is pretty nasty. Really, really dirty. And the cable itself feels like it's caked in something. It just feels nasty. Might have to sterilize my hands after that. And as well as the old front cover here, we've got more scrape marks, scuff marks, dirt marks, you know, all of the above. But we'll try and clean this up here a little bit and get this all, you know, nice and shiny, and then we'll give it a shot, do some gameplay. So let's get that done, and I'll see you back here in a few. Alright, and here's how it looks all shined up. I went and scrubbed this guy up here and got the controller all looking nifty. No more of that dirty stuff going on there on the controller end. And yeah, I mean, it's got its scuffs on it here and there, but hey, I mean, it's pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied with everything, you know. The way that the system turned out really, really nice, and I'm super happy about that. And just to show you guys, here's good old Sonic. So let's put in the original Sonic here, and let you guys take a look at it. Just at least the intro. So take a look at it on the old CRT here. Let's see if I can find the volume. This is just going through demo mode though, so. But you guys can see it's working out really nice. And like I had mentioned, I was pretty surprised about Sonic 2, how it had like that really light green border going around it. And this one's a little bit better. I like the more blue border going around the outside for Sonic 1. That is definitely a lot kind of better looking, I think, than the other blue, or the blue-green. But yeah, it's playing, it's up and going, and a long day's worth of modding and work here, just to try and get everything all scrubbed up and tested up and all that good stuff, but it was definitely well worth it, and now I can get a chance to try out some of these awesome games here that were never released in the, you know, in the NTSC regions. So definitely looking forward to that, and yeah, that's about all for me for right now. Like always, I'll put up another video here soon, so thanks for watching. Is it possible? Can it be done? Let's try. Just for fun. Ah. This is awesome. Whee! Oh no. Hey, we made it through the first stage. That's good. Awesome. Woohoo! Good, Master System 2. Just as I was gonna end the video here, I totally forgot. A lot of people had mentioned that this thing has a game built into it, and I haven't even tried it out yet, so figured we could turn this on and see what it's got inside it. Let's hit the switch, see what it's got. I didn't even know it had a game in it. So, looks like it's got Sonic. Sonic the Hedgehog. Alright, well that's kind of cool to know. Alright, well now I got a couple of copies of Sonic then, I suppose. I didn't know this was in there. Huh. Well, I guess that gives me a little bit more insight on the system itself. But yeah, that's about all for me for right now. Like always, I'll put up another video here soon, so thanks for watching. Watching again.